All right, good evening and welcome. You are watching The Zone Blitz, the weekly Tuesday night webcast produced by NFL Female. I am one of your hosts, Sharona, the co-host, along with my wonderful, wonderful sidekick, Sonja, who I'm going to kick it to in a minute. But I am the official NFL fan reporter for NFL Female. Be sure to jump on our website, www.nflfemale.com, and check out all the latest and greatest articles by all of our fantastic women who write about all 32 of the NFL teams. And so without further ado, I'm going to kick it over to my girl, Sonja. Sonja, how are you?
I'm doing great. I am Sonja. I am the official fan reporter for NFL Female for the Detroit Lions. And today I'm excited because we're going to have a couple people on here, first timers for us, and we always love new guests to kind of refresh them. So first we have Kelli. Kelli's having a couple of technical difficulties, which we know is very, very common here on the Zone Blitz. So we'll give her some time to work it out. Kelli, can you hear us? Or Kelli, can we hear you? But I don't think we can hear you. I'm sorry.
We got to get Kelli's mic fixed somehow. I don't know what the issue is, but while we're working on that.
Exactly. We've got Shon here. Shon is of NFL Female. He likes a lot of our stuff. He interacts with a lot of us. And Shon is also an author. You guys, we have an author on our podcast, and I'm very excited about this. Shon, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Yes. First of all, thanks for inviting me. Definitely excited to be a part of this community. I think you guys are all doing ladies are all doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
At NFL Female. Well, my name is Shon Hyneman. I'm happily married for 13 years. I have 2 children. I'm an author of 5 books, and my latest release is Love+Football, How to Play on the Same Team with Your Spouse, and I host a weekly podcast, and I also have my own social media marketing business, so I do a whole bunch of different things.
Very cool. So you are a master of all trades, or a jack of all trades. I'm sorry. Very good.
Yeah.
Well, he's a master of all trades too.
Yeah, I can try that, right, Sharona?
That's right.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit more about your football background first, since we are NFL Female.
Yeah, right. My football. Well, first of all, I'm a huge football fan. I've been watching football since I was 10. Love spending time with my dad. That was our bonding time. Just fell in love with the game and been watching the game since I'm 11. I won't tell you how old I am now, but but let's just say I've been watching it for a long time. Cleveland Browns fan. You know, going through all that heartbreak. Live in Arizona now, so I'm rolling with the Cardinals as well. So just a big football fan overall.
Okay, that's good. So have you completely dropped your Browns love, or are you just kind of, till they get it together, I'm going to hang out with the Cardinals for a while?
You know what? I can't let the Browns go. I just can't. I live out here in Arizona, so I'm kind of forced as a Cardinals fan. But hey, they're not as bad. So I guess it is somewhat of an upgrade.
They've been pretty competitive in that division here lately.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough division. I mean, the Rams are getting better. Of course, you got the Seahawks, and who knows what's going to happen with the 49ers.
The Rams are about to move, so it's going to be a whole different. It's going to be a whole different ball of works here pretty soon. We've talked about that before. How do you feel about that? I'm kind of, I kind of hate it in a way.
That the team moves?
With the it really don't bother me as far as like the Rams and the move. Well, I look at it like this: if it's gonna bother them to a degree with their record, if it, the whole transition, if they go like 2-14, I'll be more than happy. So that'll definitely put the Cardinals at least in 3rd place.
I feel sorry for their fan base. I think it's it's kind of a as living here in Tennessee, and of course the Nashville area benefited from Bud Adams moving his team, so it's Well, maybe a little hypocritical for us to say that, but
Yeah.
it's got to be tough on a fan base to lose a team like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I was born and raised in Cleveland, so I know what it's like when
Yeah, I
Modell
bet you
left with
do.
the Browns. Yeah, just to wake
Mhm.
up one morning and not have a football team. So.
Yeah, he fled in the middle of the night.
Exactly. Yeah. So my heart goes out to those diehard Rams fans.
Yeah, that was a very harsh move. I mean, even, gosh, when I think I've told this story before, but when Greg and I went to DC for the for the Redskins Lions game a couple years ago, we ran into a Baltimore fan who was still hurt about the Baltimore Colts, and he was at least in his 60s. I mean, I thought he was going to cry. I really did.
Wow.
I mean, so
Wow.
those types of things, I mean, they hurt your fan base and they hurt you to your heart, kind of, because that's your team. That's who you identify with. And so I do feel kind of bad for the fans if it does happen, if they
Mhm.
do happen to move, which is looking more likely. So I'll feel
Yeah.
bad for the fans, but
Mhm.
it'll be interesting to see how things get realigned and things like that.
Yes, that's what I would like to see too. I want to see the realignment and how that plays out.
Hmm. Hmm. Oh goodness, Sharona's taking random shots while she's.
Well, we've got to have some. We're going on hiatus after tonight. We got to have some shots for our going away party.
Exactly. So, Shon, why don't you tell us a little bit about your book and tell us how football has kind of played into your love of football for your love of, relationships? Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Love and football, how to play on the same team with your spouse. And not to mention that there's also a chapter there for singles as well, who desire to marry. And I talk about this whole draft thing, that there's nothing wrong with being the number one draft picked as far as relationships, that as a woman goes into marriage, that she can only help but make her husband better than what he was last year. But overall with the whole book,
Theoretically, I should say.
yeah, theoretically, we could go into it. Yeah, that's another show. I don't want to take up all the time, but the but the book is based on really how you can play on the same team with your spouse, because a lot of times we feel like our spouse have their own best interests. And when I see a quarterback and a wide receiver on the football field, I can see how they will argue on the sidelines, but then come right back out in the next offensive play and hit an 80-yard strike for a touchdown. And that's how we can be in marriage. I mean, we might argue, we might fuss and fight, but don't let anything come between me and my spouse. And even when you talk about dropping the ball, there could be different areas where we drop the ball in life, and yet and still you could come back to the huddle and your quarterback doesn't give up on you. So there are so many instances that I use in the book as far as relationships overall, and just the die-hard football fan. There's so many analogies that I use in the book about mechanics. We talk about like Tim Tebow and how his mechanics are, and how that can play into your relationship. Maybe you need to hug your wife a little more. Maybe you need to give her more kisses. Tighten up your mechanics, if you will. So that's kind of like the overall premise of the book. It's a
Oh,
short
goodness.
book. Yeah, it's like 60 pages, and my wife co-wrote it, so I'm not just talking as a man. She helped me co-write the book, so it's a really interesting read, especially for the die-hard football fans.
Now, help me out. Is that the one where you reference the Lions going 0-16?
Yes, I
Yeah, I was
did.
about to say.
Yes,
I
I
saw that.
did.
Now,
Yeah, I
hey
did.
now.
But in that same sentence, though, I did say, or the following sentence, that you can still end up going to the playoffs like the Lions,
Hmm.
no matter how many losing seasons you had, right?
Exactly. You come through every now and then. Yes, the odds have to work out in your favor every now and then. And so, yes, it has been 57 years since, we've won a playoff game, but nobody's counting. And, if you are married for 57 years, then all should be well. That every year should be a playoff, right? Right.
That's right. That's right.
I mean, maybe that's a little too basic. Now, we did mention Tebow, and since you did bring him up, what are your thoughts on Mr. Tebow? Do you think he'll possibly make the third spot in Philly? What do you think?
You know what? I hope so. I really, because I know this is his last chance.
Mm-hmm.
I heard so much bad stuff about Tim Tebow, and I just kind of feel sorry for the guy, but I think he can make the team. I think he will, and I know his heart is being a quarterback, and I know in New York they tried to do some different things with him, and it just wasn't him. So I know at the end of the day he's gonna want to play quarterback, and I believe he can make the team in Philly. I believe Chip Kelly, he will use Tim Tebow even if it's a third down. Chip, if anybody has the favor with Tim Tebow is Chip Kelly, and who knows what Chip Kelly's going to do with Tim this year.
That is true. Who knows what Chip Kelly's going to do besides Chip Kelly? But I want to say he kind of, surprised me by not doing anything at the draft except for drafting in order, but there's that.
yeah, right. Everybody thought he was going to try to trade up and get Mariota, but that didn't happen. But it's going to be interesting in Philly to see what happens there. Overall, just seeing the whole team. I mean, you lose Shady McCoy. I mean, wow, But then again, you get Sam Bradford.
Spray tan too.
Yes.
Let's not leave out spray tan.
No, we can't leave out spray tan.
Yeah, right.
And
they also signed Ryan Matthews, so they,
Ryan Matthews.
Maybe it takes DeMarco Murray and Ryan Matthews to replace LaShawn McCoy. I don't know. So I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Besides the injuries, if Ryan Matthews can stay healthy, and DeMarco Murray for that matter, if they can stay healthy, we'll see how that works.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to watch Philadelphia this year. Kelly,
well, speaking of staying healthy, their first order of business is getting Sam Bradford to stay healthy.
Exactly. And his God bless his knees. His poor knees.
Ice cream. Sonja knows what I'm talking about.
Oh God, yes. Oh God, it was a meme and it was hilarious. And I lost my mind, and I had to show it to Sharona.
I still laugh at that mess. Oh my God,
it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
It was
so
too
wrong.
So bad, so bad. Where can we get your book?
Yes, my book can be purchased on neveragainministries.com, and it can also be purchased on my other website for my weekly podcast, drloveshow.com. Just click under store, and it's available there.
Okay, cool. Are all your books there too, or just the one?
Yes, all the books are there.
Okay, very, very good, very good.
And
go ahead.
I just wanted to say, and thank you all so much for having, Kelly, if we could get Kelly in here. I know we're still having a couple of technical difficulties.
Kelly! We had her fixed last time too, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Yes. We had her fixed, and we just lost you. But now it's the other way around.
Now it's the other way around.
I don't know.
Oh well.
It's okay. Don't feel bad about it. But we can also get your thoughts right now. Tom Brady, did he get punished too hard?
You know what? Well, first of all, let me say I'm a football fan first. And I'm a big time. I think the 4 games was justifiable. I think 4 games is good. Some people was talking about a whole season.
Yeah.
I think that's.
They were never going to do that. They were never going to suspend him for a full season.
No.
Not for a full season. So I think the 4 games was good enough. I think that's, But I don't know if it tarnishes his legacy. I don't know. What do you all think? Do you think it tarnishes his legacy? Is it really as bad as we make it?
Well, I mean, I think for a lot of Patriot haters, their legacy's tarnished anyway,
Exactly.
right? I mean, going
Yeah.
back to Spygate, and even though Tom Brady wasn't ever implicated in that, you wonder what he knew, and I mean, you know,
Yeah.
so I think for some people, yeah, I mean, this is going to be something that they always, talk about, and the Peyton Manning fans, the people who think Peyton Manning is better than Tom Brady, they're always going to hang on to it. So I mean, you're never going to.
Of course.
Is Tom Brady still a great quarterback? Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
the thing about Deflategate that's kind of curious, and I think Sonja and I have talked about this before. In both situations, Spygate and Deflategate, the benefits were far outweighed by the consequences that could have that ultimately did get rendered. I mean, because neither cheating was very good. There was
Right.
very, 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 very minimal benefit to either one. So.
Yeah, there wasn't that much benefit, I would say. So.
Do you guys, a lot of people, excuse me, a lot of Patriot apologists want to point to, there was an incident in, I believe, the Minnesota Panthers game where they were warming up. They were caught warming up one of the kicking balls, and then, the Chargers got busted back in 2002, I think, with using towels that had like stick them on it to rub down their footballs.
Mm-hmm.
There were people cite to those things as as kind of proof. I mean, didn't Jerry Rice? I think he openly.
I was about to say, yeah,
Yes,
he openly
He's
said
admitted to
he
using.
You did.
He's admitted. Oh, we can hear Kelly.
Can you guys hear
Hey,
me?
we got Kelly.
All right, I told you I wouldn't give up.
All right.
Yay. It was under something called Capture, and I found it. So I took the mute off of Capture, whatever Capture is. I found it in the control panel, and I took the mute off because mute means somebody can't hear something.
Yeah.
Found it. Thank you
Excellent.
guys for your patience. Hello, Shon. It's lovely to see you.
Hello,
Ladies, it's lovely to
Kelly.
finally meet you and speak with you.
Yes.
Yes,
It's great to have
here.
you too, Kelly.
Very good to have you on. Everybody, this is Kelly. She is the official Redskins reporter for NFLfemale.com. And again, this is her first time being on this show.
You can tell.
Yes, so we are very, very, very excited to have her on. So Kelly, why don't you go ahead and say hi to everybody and tell us a little bit about the Redskins and their season and all that.
Where we were and where we're going. How about we
Yes.
start out with that? Where we were and where we were going. I'm Kelly Odell. I am, as my lovely colleagues have said tonight, I'm with the Washington Redskins, and it is my first time on, and I'm thrilled to have Shon on board because we've been working hard since we put the article out to get him on. So, hey! I'm mostly, I love my Redskins, but I got to tell you, I'm, watched Cardinals all year long and actually had predicted that the Patriots and Cardinals would be in the Super Bowl and the Patriots would win. So we're going to segue right into not my Redskins, because I really wanted so much to discuss what you guys were talking about. So if you can bear with me for a minute on the Patriots thing, I'm a taskmaster, and the taskmaster and a rule follower by nature. So I was giggling through the whole time as, what are we? We're guilty by omission. If nobody asked me the question, then I don't have to answer, therefore it didn't happen.
Right.
And I've been the subject, I've been the victim of that sort of behavior in my life, and I have a big objection to it. So I don't think 4 was enough. I really would have been a proponent of 6. I think that would have made a larger statement. I know that the draft picks were also, Bill Belichick now starting to feel it because it's going to be a draft pick situation. $1 million, please, $1 million. It's a lot to ask. It's a lot to us.
Exactly.
But I would have preferred a harsher punishment just because of the belligerent behavior associated with the denial. That's just my opinion on that. As far as my team, I'm going to, full disclosure, In 1999, I worked for the team as FedEx Field Sales Director under Dan Snyder when he first bought the team. And I chose to leave. Knowing that we had to wait for change of behavior in order for a change in the result to happen, because we all know the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
And the definition of insanity has been the definition of our team's results every year. So now that football people are doing football business, I have to say that we're getting different results. I loved Bruce's expression, and we have tormented him with him ever since, winning off the field. Have we won? Did we win off the field during the draft? I think it remains to be seen. I think that anytime you can get players who are used to being in front of a large audience, with big schools, with big expectations, money-wise, on and off the field, you're placing those players that are used to something into a scheme that a situation they're used to already. So there's some really good thoughts behind our new GM's draft picks. Big and nasty are my favorites, and I can't wait to get back to the era of hogs. You know, you can never replicate, but you can certainly hope for the same results, because every human being, I believe, brings special traits that no other human being has, and that era was fabulous for all of us that were watching it. I do believe that we are putting things in the right perspective, and you guys said bless Sam Bradford's knees. Well, I was throwing in there, please bless Argentina.
Absolutely.
And who are we going to keep? You know, and who are we going to keep? We're going to keep the very best that shows up at training camp. So for me, off season is great to ponder and pontificate, because we all love our football, and we obviously can't get enough of it. We're NFL female reporters. We can't get enough of it, and I can't. I always say to people that say, how come you know so much? I said, well, you know much about the subjects that you're passionate about. So we know what we're passionate about, and we love it. So I think that looking ahead, I'm not going to look at predictions until we get to our 53. Last year when we kept 7 wide receivers, I wanted to shoot us because I wanted special teams players. I wanted more special teams players, and I believe this year we're going in that direction. We're looking for people who are looking to make the team based on being a utility team player, UTP I call them, an NFL UTP, which means I'm willing to do whatever it is it takes to get to the Super Bowl. And I'm willing to play special teams, and I'm willing to work for a position on this team. So I like the mentality of us going forward. Kind of where our Redskins are. Yeah. Just going forward. Finally going forward with all 4 wheels on.
Exactly. I was about to say, in a very productive manner. So I'm taking it that you liked their first-round draft picks of the offensive linemen.
I do. I'm all about getting us some big and nasty players. I like the film I've seen on them, and I like their attitudes. I like the character. Shon and I've talked about character not only in the Love and Football book and the article that he allowed me so graciously to write about in the off season. But so did Ernest Spiner and I, and back to the Cleveland moment, you don't ever give up on your team, and I love loyalty. That's one of my #1 qualities in a human being, is being loyal. And I think you and Ernest probably had conversations about this as well, and Ernest's article also reflected that you look for someone with traits of a good human being, because they lift the play of other players. And that's what Ernest did, and that's what Shon was talking about as far as being a #1 draft pick in his world, which is Love and Football. You need to have great characteristics, and you need to be of strong mind and body in any relationship. So I think anybody's #1 draft pick ought to lift them up and help them be a better person, and that goes on the field and off the field.
Agreed.
Love it. Love it.
I was about to say.
I agree.
I mean, that pretty much is true. Now, what did you guys write together? Because you guys did write an article together. Am I mistaken, or?
No, he allowed me. We found each other on Twitter. I saw Love and Football. And Twitter can be such an interesting playground, can't it, ladies? Right, Sharona, such an interesting playground for us all to be in. It can be kind to you, and it can be unkind to you. And then you just have to learn to navigate who you want to play with on the playground. And Shon, I wanted to know more I wanted to know more. And so we chatted a little bit up. We followed each other. I went to the DM stage, and then we went to the phone call stage, and I said, talk to me about this because I love your analogy. Because who doesn't want to know more about love and football? I mean, yeah, I do. And I really love female. So, and really what I thought when you and I were going to talk was, because I hadn't, I had only scratched the surface, was, okay, women are trying to connect with, many women are trying to connect with their men during football season. Because many women, not many women, but women, it's like, you know what, I'm not jumping into football full season. I'm going to go out and do what I do. He's going to watch his football. Or it's a golf wife. I mean, it's a baseball wife. It's the same thing. So it's like, that's not her passion. And that's okay. So I thought that's where we were going with this when we first, like, okay, he's going to explain to me, and I'm going to be able to explain to NFL female how we're going to get there. How we're going to say, hon, have your own time. Me, it's different. I love all sports, so I jump into all of them. For all women, it's not like that. That's not their passion. So how can you keep that connection going during that season where your husband is totally focused on, or maybe even your wife is totally focused on her sport or his sport? And I really thought but he led me in a completely different direction, which expanded my mind. It really wasn't it wasn't a short read for me. It is in pages, but it's not a short read for your mind. It's like you get his analogies and you get excited about it, but then you want to talk to Shon more about how he got there. So I kind of turn that over to you now and talk to them about how you got to those great analogies that I was able to quote in that article. I love your commandments. Your commandments are awesome.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Kelly, you did an awesome job with the article, and I want to say thanks to NFL Female for allowing me to be on you guys' platform, because ladies' platform. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Because I love
It's a
what you're doing.
compliment, right?
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. We answer to guys. It's
Guys are
considered.
fun. Yeah.
All right, and it's really about bringing men and women together during the season, and like you were saying, Kelly, because a lot of women they say I'm gonna do my own thing. He'll sit in front of the TV for 7-8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
But I even noticed when the Super Bowl was here in February, it was crazy. And I noticed so many men and women together. And I'm thinking, how many of these people in this stadium need this book? I wanted to run out on the field and tell them about the book.
I was about to say, you should have just had a little thing on, like, Radio Row.
Yeah, right.
Or a little setup on Radio Row, yeah.
Yeah, I would have been.
I wanted you to throw them out like T-shirts. You know how they do at games, and like I know they do at Wizards games, and they just throw them out like T-shirts. I said, Shon needs a table. No, he doesn't need a table. He needs to be throwing them out during pregame.
Exactly.
I know you wish you could have.
I know. I wanted to go on the field, but I would have been on the news. I wouldn't have been able to be on.
Not in a good way. Not in a good way.
Yeah. You see that guy who ran on the football field? Yeah.
Can you I know that I'm very familiar with them, but can you just name a couple of your I call them the commandments, but those top 10 that you have? I like them a lot, and I think they have such a they cross the bridge, they bridge the relationship, whether it's football or whether it's love.
Yes, and I was talking earlier about this togetherness, this team effort that it takes for marriage to be successful. And a lot of times, like you were saying, when a husband sits in front of the TV and a wife disconnects, how much better is it for a husband and wife to be together and know the analogies, and then be able to play this out? I mean, there's no better to me. My wife, she somewhat likes football, but I'm like, what if she was really into what if she was into NFL Female? Like, I wish, she watch it because she like being with me.
Oh.
But how much better that would have been. So I've been telling her about you all and trying to get her
on here.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. In fact, she is your co-author
Yes,
in your books, and that would be, I think it would be awesome to say, you know what, jump on board, because the more the merrier, and we're just doing a lot of wonderful things. I've only been with them since June. I haven't even had my 1-year anniversary yet, and
Oh, wow.
I'm so excited about the past. Our editor, she saw what you saw. She saw that for the first time, and that's how the idea came about, was that she saw about 60 to 80% of the stadium was filled with women. It's like, wait a minute, I'm having a moment. And what you saw at the Super Bowl, more women than your mind expected to see. And that is exactly what NFL Female is all about. There are more of them out there. There are more of us out there.
Yes.
And going back to just statistics, we have decision-making buying power for about 96 to 97% of everything that comes through the household or through anybody's hands. Is a woman is making that final monetary decision. So there's got to be more NFL females out there. They may not know that they are yet, but we're going to find them. And you're going to help us with love and football, right?
All right, let's bring the conversation back to football and get a little bit back on track here.
Yeah, right.
So let's talk about the NFC East. Washington, the Redskins are obviously in that division. Kelli, do you think that? Give us a rundown on the division. How do you think it's going to go this year? Are the Redskins going to compete?
I've been watching you look for cycles in football, at least I do. Look for cycles in all behavior, because you can sort of see a pattern. Obviously, with the Cowboys winning the division before, and Eagles winning before, and then the Giants winning before, the Redskins haven't won it since 12. Do I think they can compete? Always and every year. That doesn't change, because that's just how I feel about the team. But I think some significant changes are being made so that we actually can go beyond the 4-12s, the 3-13s, and some of the ugliness that we've seen in the past few years. So I do believe we are going to put a competitive team on the field, and I believe the interesting part is our backups will be as competitive, because there's going to be such a tone set in training camp this year that everybody's going to have a chance to start. There isn't going to be a number one on everybody's back. You're going to get your starters, and they're going to be made, but everybody's going to be made to believe, and they are, as they're coming in too, as they're signing their contracts, and the I call it the message coming out of camp, is that everybody has a chance to start on this team, and you just have to put out your best.
I think improving the back end of the roster is always great. We talked a little bit about the Eagles already, and the mad genius that is Chip Kelly. The Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys had a very nice draft this year. They've made some controversial decisions, but I think there's no question but that they're improving the team. Should be maybe a little bit more competitive in the division this year.
And I do believe the NFC East had their what I call their moment in the sun for a very long time, and then we saw that shift in that rotation. But I do believe the NFC East, and as Sharona said, is going to come back and be very competitive. And one team we're not talking a lot about is the New York Giants. And what's very interesting about the Giants is that they did pick up a few players that the Redskins had their eyes on. So you can see that the NFC East watching each other constantly, and before and during the draft, and watching and listening very carefully to what the word on the street might be about what players each team wants to take. I think they said that the Cowboys edged out the Redskins in the draft by just maybe a plus sign, B+, B-, that sort of thing. I think both teams were very aggressive and very smart. Because they both have very smart people in those positions. But I have to agree with you, Sharona, some of the riskiest things that were done by the Cowboys and the Eagles in this draft. Redskins can't afford to be risky. They don't have anything to risk. They just have to start over. It's a new garden, you got to start over again. Are we tired of starting over? I can't disagree with that. We are. As a fan base, we are tired of starting over. So I feel like this year that, like I said, my favorite expression is football people are actually doing football business. So I think we are going to put a competitive squad, and we're going to I think we're going to sign some people who are going to surprise us, and those being that they just had their rookie signing, so they're having them right now. I think some of those are going to come to the forefront. You're going to see an age drop big time with the Redskins in terms of who's on the field and who makes the 53 and the practice squad, and that's going to put us in a better position to be better, stronger, longer.
Very good.
Well,
How do you feel about Gruden?
That was an on-the-spot question.
Sorry.
I think that's okay. No, because I wrote it last year in Change is Cool. Change is cool. But what everyone seems to have left out is, and that's in every job. The job that I started doing here, and any job that you start, is a learning curve. And this is only year 2. Yes, he's been a successful coach in the arena, and yes, he's proven that he can win championships and put together a team. I think the age is something we're not used to in terms of a coach in Washington, D.C. He's a younger coach. 2, he's also got a tremendous learning curve in the NFL. You know what it's like, you guys, when you start a new job? It's not just knowing that you can do the job when you walk in. It's learning all the other stuff that goes along with working for that company. And I think that's where we are. And I think we saw that on the field. It was just so much going on in his headset every single Sunday, and we saw the results of that. So I think this year he has a year. The apprentice, he's moving up, and I think this year we'll see some more productive division of responsibilities with Scott in charge, and with Jay having a year behind him. So my opinion is he's still learning the job.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Shon, since you follow the Cleveland Browns, it's been a few weeks anyway since we talked some AFC North.
Yeah.
We talked about that division a lot last season. One of the tougher divisions in football in the 2014 season. It's looking to shaping up to be that way again this season, don't you think?
Yes, most definitely. You can never ignore the Ravens and the Steelers. I mean, those guys are always fighting at the top every year. Sometimes the Cincinnati Bengals, you don't know what you're going to get. They'll go 10-6, 11-5, then they go 7. So you never know. And I'm hoping that the Browns will make some changes that's going to get them at least 9 wins this year. But the division is so tough. They play each other so tough every year. And that's, I think, especially for the Browns, what they're going to do with Manziel. He's going to go into the season starting. And then it hurts my heart with Josh Gordon, the wide receiver from the Browns. I mean, he had that breakout season, and then he caught up in all this. With legal issues and yeah, right.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that the Browns can at least do 8 games this year, hopefully. But the Steelers, you can never count them and the Ravens out, especially
Do you
with
think
Big Ben.
Do you think the Steelers are going to miss Dick LeBeau?
Good question. I think so. But with Coach Tomlin, I mean, he can always pull the pieces together because he still has some players on the defensive line. He still got Cameron Hayward, and he still has he lost Woodley and he lost the linebackers, but they'll come up with some kind of scheme to put it all together. I'm sure the Steelers, you just never can count them out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Do you think? Oh, go ahead. Oh, it wasn't a Steeler question. It was going to be back to the Browns. I was just going to ask you.
Back to the Browns.
Back to the Browns.
Yeah, right.
I'm right about the Steelers. But do you think that they gave Johnny a fair shot? Do you think that he deserves a fair shot?
Yes, I mean it was his first year, and granted that Cincinnati game he played, I mean he looked like a Smurf on the field. He was lost, and people just blew that out of the water. I don't think anybody was there to support him. I mean, and again, he's only going into year number 2. I think once he gets to know the offense, if he go into training camp with those guys and he can easily be the starter because they already lost the other quarterback that they had. I forgot his name. The other quarterback they just had last year.
Brian Hoyer.
There we go.
He left already, so Manziel can easily take the spot, and we'll see what happens with those guys in that offense.
I think he'll be better off with Josh McCown. as his competition than he would have been than he was with Brian Hoyer. That competition last year was low-key kind of ugly in a way.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
was.
Well
was.
said. Yep.
Yeah, and then they
And
put in like Billy Shaw. They played Billy Shaw. It was just a mess last year. It was bad.
It was about as bad as the Redskins playing 3 as well. So it looked about as ugly. And I just want to comment. I actually got to see Johnny play because I was at the Cleveland preseason game in Washington, and his youthfulness showed.
Yeah, it did.
He's very young. You have to give him a chance to grow.
Yeah. And I think, what I was so proud of the Browns is they took a young man that they invested in, and that's what I was hoping for, and that's why I was thrilled when RG3's 5th year was picked up. They took a young man and they said, we're an organization behind you. And that's a statement that needs to be made. It's exciting. Drafts are wonderful. But if all of a sudden they just toss you aside because, oops, they think they made a mistake, the young man is thinking, wait a minute, you vested in me. And they vested in him, and I was impressed with that.
There were those reports that the Browns were like, 98% done with him. And even though they were very supportive, or appeared to be very supportive of his rehab stint, I didn't care much for those reports. I thought that the Browns got a little bit of what they were asking for with Johnny Manziel. He was clearly a guy that needed to grow up a little bit, and so
I have to agree with you on that.
But 1 year is simply not enough, and
right.
Yeah, I mean, he caused them some headaches, but still.
And they signed Brian Hartline and Dwayne Bowe. They brought some veterans on the offense to help them out a little bit, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, and apparently it just wasn't a good mix. Imagine this. It wasn't a good mix to have Johnny Manziel, Josh Gordon, and...
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
Who was the other one on the party plane?
Party boat.
Oh, God, not the Love Boat. Dang, who was it? Now you're making me think.
Yeah, I forgot.
Anyway, we know what I'm talking about, and you know.
In other words, we didn't pick the right children to play with, did we?
No, they didn't.
I mean, anytime that you have a team that plays multiple quarterbacks, you're gonna. I mean, the Titans played all three, couldn't keep all three of their quarterbacks healthy. They ended up with Jordan Palmer under center at the end of the season because all their guys were benched. So I mean,
it's awful to watch.
When you have a situation like that, it's not a winning recipe, and so you kind of run into that. So the Ravens, we haven't really talked that much about the Ravens. They always seem to lock and reload.
Reload.
That they do. Gotta give them that. Yeah.
I mean, you would kind of think that. I don't know who is the favorite in the division this year. Shon, we'll start with you.
Yeah, it's a toss up. I really think it is. Of course I'm a Cleveland guy, but Pittsburgh would end up winning the division again. I think Baltimore, you got Flacco coming back. I don't know what their backfield is going to look like. I don't know if they still have Bernard Pierce, I think. Was the running back Bernard Pierce?
No, they released him. Did he have a DUI or something? They've got Justin Forsett.
Justin Forsett.
And Latoyo, they've got a guy. I think he was a rookie last year. He's going into his second year. And then they brought in somebody else, and I can't remember. I don't remember.
I can't remember who, but I think they did.
Yeah.
Justin Forsett did enough, and he's a guy. He's got very low mileage on his gear, and so I think that it was a wise move for them to bring him back. I think he's on a 2-year deal now.
Yeah, he is because he signed over the off season. I think in that division, I think it's going to be Baltimore. I have not concerns, but I want to see how Pittsburgh is going to adjust with the loss of Troy Polamalu, a couple of their other defensive, Dick LeBeau. I want to see how they're going to just kind of readjust. And we'll see. I guess that's probably the biggest thing. And, yeah, Coach Tomlin is very good, and I think he can bring them together. But I think there's going to be a big adjustment period. Cleveland, while they are improved, I don't think they're going to, make too much noise. They'll make some noise, but not a lot.
Yeah.
The Bengals, I think, will be the Bengals. As long as you've got Andy Dalton as your quarterback, you really kind of, you know what you're going to get, but you don't really know what you're going to get.
Did you guys see A.J. McCarron came out today and said he was going to give Andy Dalton, it was either yesterday or today, said he was going to compete with Andy Dalton for the starting job and take it from him?
Wow.
That's confidence.
Bravo.
Wow.
You gotta like the hubris, right?
Yeah,
You
do.
do.
That's how you play
You
ball.
do.
Yeah. That's how you play ball.
Wow.
You have to have confidence. But let me say this, though. I'll be the first one. I would love to be a backup quarterback. If all you have to do is just carry the
It's the
clipboard.
best job in the world.
Exactly.
Ready to know where your helmet is at all times.
Pretty much.
Oh, wow, that's funny. Well, they do have AJ Green, so you can never go wrong with him.
And
but
they've got
Andy
a
Dalton's
nice.
the man.
They've got a nice backfield with Jeremy Hill and Joe Bernard, and a nice tight end. And who is there?
The other wide receiver. Oh, Mohamed Sanu is their other receiver.
They've got who's the young guy? Jermaine Gresham, didn't he? He's with you guys, right?
Yes.
He's with the Lions now, but they've got
Jermaine Gresham?
Tyler Eifert, is who I'm thinking about.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Their young tight end.
No, Jermaine Gresham isn't with me, though.
Not with George.
Oh, where did he go?
Jermaine Gresham
Jermaine Gresham.
I don't remember. Anyway, I'll look it up real quick.
We'll look it up.
We'll find out.
Yes,
You would think that, and I've said this for a while now. He's currently a free agent. Let's see.
Crap.
It looks that they might be looking at him in Denver. I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't been signed.
Me too.
Wow.
I would think that maybe at least
A look, something,
New
a
Orleans.
camp
I was about to
invite,
say,
something.
at least New Orleans would come around sniffing, you'd think. Denver, I like that, But then
Well,
that was good.
Yeah, their new toy got injured, and so they don't know. I forget what the guy's name is. What's his name? Jeff Hellman.
And then, but Denver did just get Owen Daniels too.
Yeah.
So 6 months.
Oh, he and Coobs are big buddies. They go way back.
Because they were. Yeah, they do go back, like 4 flat tires.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
It's
I am kind of surprised though. Something must be wrong with Jermaine if nobody's really picked him up.
That's kind of strange.
Did
Did he lose a step? Is he not showing, the competitive edge? Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe. Yeah, that's weird.
Here's the thing. The Bengals have been right in there. They've been in that mix. At what point does Marvin Lewis have to get the job done? Take them at least on a deep playoff run.
I would think he'd have to do it now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they gave him
now.
another year, and I would say if he doesn't get it done this year, he's done. And he's had his fair share of time. And I really don't understand why they have let him stay on this long. But I don't know. But I would say that this is his year. If he doesn't get it done, then he's gone. But I could be totally wrong, and you'll see next year he'll probably be back.
Well, I thought last year, but then they did. They just keep dragging it out. They extend him, and then it's like, but I guess he lost both of his coordinators, and maybe the Brown family didn't feel like that was a good time to let him get new coordinator. And I like Hugh Jackson. I think that he's been great for their offense.
Their offense has been good.
Yeah.
Their defense actually has been the one that's kind of kept them in things. So
Yeah.
I like their defense. But yeah, like I said, he's got a year in my mind, and then I think he'll be OTD.
Yeah. They'll probably
gotta
win
be
8
wrong.
games this year.
Oh, they'll for sure.
Oh,
win.
8 games, huh? How many is Cleveland going to win?
Yeah.
3. No,
I'll
I'm
win.
being silly.
They'll win. They'll win by about. They'll probably win about. It just really depends on the quarterback play. It really does. If they do that quarterback carousel thing again, it's just gonna spiral out of control. So
Yep.
we'll see.
Be sure.
Yeah,
We will see. We shall see. All right. Let's go back to the Cardinals and their division. Who do you predict there? And then we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll do our thing, do our outros.
Yeah. Seattle again on top of the division. I think Arizona will come in second place. And then you got to I think San Francisco is going to kind of bottom out. I think San Francisco maybe win 7 games, maybe. They just look scattered. I mean, you lose guys like Patrick Willis. And, you just lose so many pieces. So I'm thinking Seattle, Arizona, and San Francisco will finish last. And then I don't know what's going to go on with the whole Rams thing with the shift. I don't know.
Yeah, that shall be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, what do you think?
I see Arizona and then Seattle, and I see the Rams and I see the Niners fighting for last. Yeah, fighting for last. And the reason is because if you look at both organizations, there's been an implodement from top to bottom. And that is, since I've lived that for a number of years here, I know what the results are. And they really are, the implodement is very severe in both of those teams. So I think that they're literally going to be fighting to win 2 and 3 games with the level of competition that you have with the Ravens. And you have, Seattle's there, Arizona's in it. And then you've got those second-tier teams like Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. And we're not going to not talk about the Patriots because they are there and they're going to be playing and they're going to be top. But I do believe that it's going to be Arizona. I think they've not taken their eye off the prize, and I think they would have been in the prize had they not had their quarterback injuries.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel it's still Seattle's division. I mean, I really do feel that way. I think that Arizona is close. They're going to be second in the division. I think that they will challenge, but I don't think they're going to win the division. And St. Louis will be third, and San Francisco will be dead last. Sorry, Beer, but they will be.
We apologize to our other OFRs. We're so sorry.
Yeah, the Seahawks would seem to be the favorite to win the division. There's some weird things, though, that seem to be going on between them and Russell Wilson. Maybe they'll get something ironed out and they'll get that contract situation resolved. He does seem to have gone a little bit Hollywood on us. I wonder how that's going to. Did you like that picture, that recent picture from the White House press? Yeah, exactly. Very lovely. Lovely shot of him. I'm not going to lie. and there's nothing wrong with that, but I just feel like, at some point it's hard to maintain that domination. And, the Patriots have done it, but then, it's been cyclical for them, too. They won their 3 Super Bowls and then had that, and of course they're back now. It does help to have that franchise quarterback, and I think the Seahawks would be crazy not to get that situation ironed out. The sooner, the better, in my opinion. I just wonder what kind of impact it will have. I do like them adding Jimmy Graham. Interesting thing that came out. Tweet from Paul Richardson, who is their second round, I believe, draft pick, wide receiver last year. Yeah, it tore his ACL, and it doesn't sound good. He said it sounded like he had a setback, so he's not coming back as quickly from his ACL. So I guess we'll see. I do think that Arizona, if they can stay healthy, can really challenge. It sounds like they're going to play Badger. The Honey Badger is going to be. He's going to move back to corner. They're saying. It sounds like they're mixing it up with him.
Oh wow! I don't know. We'll see. I hope he stay in that safety position. We don't want to put him at a corner. We don't want to do that.
He's a little. I thought that he was a little small for that.
I was about to say, I mean, he's a little bit undersized for it, I think, but we'll see. Because you know what honey badgers do.
Yeah, that's right. They come out.
They come out. They don't
show
care.
up and show out. Nope.
Oh wow.
All right.
Okay. Well, as always.
Kelly, before we get too far afield, what was the name of your article? And when
it was Love and Football and how to play on the same team with your spouse.
Okay, so you named it the same thing as his book. Is that?
Well, I switched it up a little bit, but it got edited, and it went right with that. So we're going to go with what's on NFL Female.
Yeah.
And that's what's on the website. Yeah.
For people who want to read it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
And you can get the book, obviously, he said on his website, which I noticed that I could hear if I couldn't come, but absolutely it's on there as well. But I have my copy. It's not signed yet. But it will be, I'm sure.
Of course it will.
Of course
it will.
Of course.
I wish I could have come out there and joined you for the Super Bowl. That was a very nice invitation. I really wish at the time I could. And unfortunately, I did a lot of off-season reading because I had a torn muscle in my back. So I wasn't as mobile as I have been. And I did it right before the holidays and made it worse by doing a WOW event that was 2 hours of Zoom. I didn't know I had a torn muscle in my back. It was not diagnosed properly. So I got a lot of off-season football reading done, and one of that was your book, and one of the articles written was your book. So we've been doing a lot of tweeting and retweeting about it. So thank you, Sharona, again, for bringing that up so people can revisit NFL Female now and look at all the cool things we're doing here that we've been able to do now with everybody's support in the growth of the website.
Of course, and I'll continue to support that as well.
Thank you.
Not just the Love and Football, but continue. I see you have a Kickstarter campaign going.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
I'll continue to support that as well. So you all are doing an excellent job.
Much love from Liz.
Yes. We thank you for that, Shon.
Thank you.
All right, Shon, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody again where they can find you, where your website is, where they can find you on social media.
Yes, you can find me on social media. My name is Shon Hyneman, but it's spelled ShonHyneman. Yes, I have a funny name. But you can find me on Twitter at that name as well. And you can find our website at neveragainministries.com. And we also have our weekly podcast, Dr. Love Show, where my wife co-hosted with me. And we definitely keep it honest about relationships. And we also did a whole series on Love and Football on our podcast as well. So
awesome. Very good.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you again for coming on. We really appreciate it, and I hope everybody goes out and checks out their stuff. And again, I am Sonja. I am the official NFL female reporter for the Detroit Lions. You can find me on Twitter at mom2 3RN. You can also find me writing for A Good Sports Hang. So make sure you check out me and all the guys there that are writing about sports every day. Also, I have one thing to show you guys. My daughter gave me a Mother's Day. And first of all, I got to see what's on the back. Hopefully you guys can see that. It says it's Mom, a.k.a. Sonja Kelli Greenfield. It says and with little hearts, and then it says Aunt Sharona.
Oh, Aunt Sharona.
Aunt Sharona. And then on the
put that back up there. I want to take a picture. Take a picture.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hang on. We're going to make... Okay, here we go.
Okay, got it?
Yes.
I feel the love.
Perfect. And then on the
That's
front
so
of the Mother's Day
great.
card, of course, it said Happy Mother's Day, but then it said NFLfemale.com with the little football.
Nice.
So that was so cute.
Awesome.
She is so
We need
awesome.
that.
That was my middle
Awesome.
child. She's my sweetie pie like that. She's very thoughtful. Well, they all are. But
Sonia sent me that, and I swear, you guys, I cried.
Yeah. We need to
She
make a
called
mini
me-
sisterhood.
She called me Auntie Sharona. I was like, I'm dying. Oh my god.
Exactly. That was so cute.
I think we
It
need a
was.
junior. We need a junior sisterhood.
A junior
That's what we need.
sisterhood.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
an up and coming training
Start
sisterhood.
them young. Start 'em
Exactly.
young.
Start her, and she loves to write, so yes, we should start her young.
That is just the sweetest. Kelly, real quick, tell them where they can find you on social media, and are you working on anything? What was the latest that you've done for NFL Female?
Gosh, the latest one, I believe, I think there was one after. I did the WOW. I cover WOW, which is the largest and most organized
Right,
female
I remember
fan
that
base.
one.
Yes,
Mhm.
that was the WOW event in April. They just asked me, and I'm going to go ahead and give them their plug tonight. I don't know if I get a chance to do that. But the Women of Washington are doing something called Soundboard, and I'll be doing some tweeting about that. They specifically asked me to do it. They said because they wanted. I said, you promote us so well, and I said, well, thank you. And they appreciate that NFL Female supports them on the website as well, always giving me the opportunity when I go to events to cover that, for NFL Female. And they're starting something called Soundboard, which is going to allow the Washington Redskins to tweet things that are that person specific, but also related to what the Washington Redskins women are doing, like events, like if you like fashion, if you like recipes, if you like specifically stuff about the team, you get to check off what you like, and they're going to design tweets that they're going to be able to put right into your feed. So that's Soundboard for them, and that's just a little promo for them, and I'm going to be tweeting about that in the weeks to come. And where you can find me is at Kelly Patrice 16, and I do hashtag. In fact, I didn't even realize this. I just got better at social media over the last year, but hashtag Redskins tweet team at Kelly Patrice 16 comes up before the Washington Redskins. So when you're typing things, I said, well, that was a winner. I figured that out. Dumb luck, So I'm excited about that, and I also wanted to share that our Twitter analytics are very, very important. So that link that Liz sent to us all, we can always look at how we're doing and what messages we're sending out and who we're impacting. And I love analytics, so I think that's something that we all share, is looking at where our message is going and how much more of an impact we can have as females.
All right. Well, thanks again, Kelly, for joining us, and you too, Shon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much, Sharona.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you all.
You're
Thank you.
very
for the
welcome.
opportunity. Yes, I will stand in touch with you all.
All
Very
right. And I am Sharona. You can follow me on Twitter at Sports by Sharona. You can check out my podcast, Back Talk with Sharona. On Monday, we talked about domestic violence and Ballgate, the Patriots scandal. May not have a show tomorrow, but I'll be back on Friday on Game Over with Fast Eye and Sharona. Always catch me at NFL Female, and you can also catch my work at Pro Player Insiders. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Liz, as always, for everything that she has done. Have a very pleasant evening. And big announcement, Sonja and I are going on hiatus. This is our last show for probably about a month or so. We're going to take a hiatus. We'll be back right before training camps heat up, so to speak.
Yes.
They will.
So we'll miss you while we're gone.
Yes,
Thanks for
we will.
watching.
Thank you for
And stay,
always.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen.
Stay tuned for further announcements on when we'll be back.